Welcome back. The Department of Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs in Limpopo says it's on track to get rid of asbestos in the province. In 2008, national government announced the prohibition of the use of, manufacturing, import and export of asbestos. To discuss this further, we're joined by Limpopo Cogta MEC Basikopo Makamu. Thank you so much, MEC, for joining us in studio this evening. It's great to have you.
Thanks very much, Andy, and greetings to all the viewers at home.
So let's start off with the historical context. If asbestos has been prohibited since 2008, tell us about some of the challenges in eradicating its use, specifically in Limpopo.
Let me start by indicating that it was established somewhere in 1930 that asbestos are having health hazard within the use of our communities. In 1960, around there, they started to eliminate this, but you will know that the economy of the country was also thriving out of mining of the asbestos. That's what they were still using. But since 2008, the government has issued regulations to prohibit the manufacturing, the use, and all sorts of things. But you will understand by that time, a lot of roofs in the whole country were already with asbestos, and you will require a lot of money to remove them at once. We have started in some small scale, but honestly, as a province, we announced that we are going to start to do assessment in the whole province to want to establish how much work do we have for the asbestos. And we found that almost more than 10,500 houses in the whole province are still roofed by asbestos. And we said and made commitment in the legislature that we are starting the process of removing them. And we have started with 1,500 houses in Sishiko. And I can confirm that I'm proud to say that project was started. We were responding to the challenge, not only the health hazard. There was sometimes a disaster in the area, hails, to be able to break into, and the houses were leaking. And we made commitment that we are going to resolve that. And as I speak to you, we have completed the 1,500 units. We are looking for money to continue each and every financial year, to put certain amount of money to remove in the entire province, not only in Sishiko.
Just to take a slight step back, from 2008 to now, that's 15 years. But you're saying progress has been made on a very small scale. What was delaying the start of major works to address this issue?
Well, of course, I may not be sure, but you will know that the whole country was talking about. You will know that even in Free State, they wanted to do that and other areas. But our province, because of our rural in nature, you will have competing needs, like completing or constructing RDP houses. You know, I'm from a rural province, which you will get people who are staying in one room, they are 8 or in some shacks. Then you will have competing needs. You have to deal with that part. But at the same time, you still have to do certain work which is supposed to have been done a long time ago. So it will be that allocation of budgets that will be able to. Even as I speak to you, I'm saying 10,500, we only dealt with 1,005. We will still have to do. If I were to use the entire budget for the human settlement that the province gets of about 1 billion, if I were to use the amount we use now without any escalation, we will have to use 2 years without doing any other thing. But we can't live without, because there are those that need shelter, because we still have to continue with that. So I'm saying it was in a small scale, but we want to increase so that we can complete, everybody else can live in a better shelters that as we provide them.
Okay, so 10,500, is that roughly the number of houses with asbestos roofs that you've identified?
Exactly, that is the number. We have appointed the HDA to do that assessment for us. You will know, you will have that through the plans that you will get within our municipalities. But you will know only that some of them might have changed the roof on their own long before, because they know. So you will not be sure whether the numbers in terms of the registered building plans within municipalities are still the status on the ground. So you will have to do assessment so that you can plan better, budget better, so that you can be able to respond to the exact number that we need. As I'm talking, we have done the assessment. It could be one township. Normally, you will know, mining towns are the ones who will have more of the asbestos, and we are busy revamping them. We have got a specific grant that we also try to want to refurbish all those towns so that they can look better without asbestos.
Okay. What are the project timelines? How many of these 10,500 houses are you looking to allocate per annual budget to do each year, for instance, and how long is that going to take to complete?
Look, the previous one, we utilized about 15 million to do the 1,500, without necessarily looking at the projection of escalation because of inflation in some of the things of the material. But let me also indicate that you have other new competing needs, like our province. The minister says to me, MEC Makamu, in part of your business plan must come and deal with mud houses, because when disaster comes, people who are staying in mud houses get to be in danger. So as and when you are removing the asbestos, you must be mindful of the people who are staying in mud houses. Then you have to deal with that. So if I were to say, let me suspend any other activities, in 2 years or one financial year, I will be done with all asbestos. But that does not necessarily work like that as a cut and paste, or you say 1 + 1 is 2. No, you still have to deal with some disasters plan, but also the situation that finds our province in.
Last question before I let you go, and I think it's a very important one because we saw the disastrous results of the situation in the Free State, which you mentioned earlier, where the tenders to rectify or remediate asbestos roofs there was plagued by corruption. Is this process to remediate asbestos roofs in Limpopo also going to go out on tender?
Well, we went on tender. It was done by 3 service providers, which I think we were giving. Of course, you will know, as the MEC, you will not have to play a role in terms of how they procure. But a question will come and say, who will want to run clean government? We have done audits now. The transactions were also part of what has been audited, and there were no foul play. Of course, you will not say no because you are working with individuals, but as people who are prepared to run clean government, you always caution. Of course, when you want to compare with what happened in Free State, you will always say you will not want to hear part of the corrupt activities getting into this project as you want to respond to what the communities want. Because definitely, only you should be not necessarily on the asbestos, but the entire running of government. We have got a number of projects that we are running. We always caution accounting officers and everybody else that we should run away, because corruption itself is denying our people services that they should be able to get.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you luck with this project, and hopefully you make speedy progress each year to eradicate the use of asbestos that's been there historically, so that people can have access to better lives.
I think it's the commitment the ANC has made. You know, we are going to elections. I may not necessarily be there, but I think what the ANC said in 1955, that there shall be houses, security and comfort, we should always continue doing that so that our people receive comfort. You will know, when I went there to do the observation of what is being done, people were happy and said, this is what we want our government to do to us, and we restore our dignity.
MEC, of course, we are going to check in with you after the elections as well to make sure that the eradication of asbestos continues and that it's not just to try and electioneer and get people happy about the ANC. But that is something we will follow up on.
No, I think we will still be ready for that, because definitely we are not electioneering. We are also resolving and responding to the challenges our people had. And that is exactly what we are doing.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Great to have you in studio with us. That was Cogta MEC in Limpopo, Basikopo Makamu, speaking to us about the eradication of asbestos roofs in that province.